got some good footage of Moj here. Wanted to provide some feedback on starters, some good things. Moj, your setting has gone amazing. I'm not that good at siding out, but in this match, because of your good sets, I was siding out at a high rate, and like I know you must be able to feel the difference. Probably feels pretty good. Some things I want to focus on in this video is just defensive positioning, defensive anticipation, and I think that's your next big step in your game. Let's check it out, and I guess we'll show specific examples, but I think the biggest thing is going to be just one, getting back to your like primary spot as soon as possible. That's number one. And two is just when there's an offset from the other team and the other team is not going to swing, be ready to run down a ball. And a good indication of when that's going to happen is going to be if there's a bad pass. That can kind of be that's going to be a cue that the set's probably not going to be that good. That means the hit's not going to be that good, and you're going to probably have to move around instead of just be on your heels and dig a ball. Let's take a look. The first play might have been an example of that, actually. So, like, it's a good swing by Henry, but, you start the play kind of forward. And if you want to start here and, get the balls over on one, that's fine, even though that might have happened once in this entire series. You don't really have to be that worried about the ball coming over on one at this level of play anymore. So you'll see, like, you kind of get back to your spot a little late, and you do get ready in time, but I think if you had an extra half a second, you could have gotten this ball up a little bit better. Now, in this game, instead of, in the past when players had less control, you had to be worried about the ball going over on one unintentionally. Now you have to be worried about the ball going over on two intentionally, and then three, of course. So I think in these games, you could start further back. I don't think you have to be worried about these short balls over on one as much. And that way, you're already in position. You don't have to move as much. So, like, you just got into your stance when, like, he's already about to swing. So it's tough. And then with this, I would just say, your hands are down here. Matt can swing down there. Henry cannot. So when Henry's attacking, I would probably start with your hands up instead of in this downward digging position. And then you had to quickly react. But if your hands were already there, it would have been much easier just to, pop this ball up. But instead, you have to quickly go up and you fling your hands up and the ball is going up and backwards. Good swing, though. It's tough. I think if you just had more reps, you could eventually get these balls. Honestly, I don't have that great feedback to give there. I think you're a little in front of the ball on these hits, but still pretty good hit. And then I'll just point out, I think I said this in real life too, so let me go back a little bit further. Go even more. Okay, so you hit this ball now. Matt's making a good play here. He's sending this ball all the way backwards. There's no threat here. Henry, he's gonna try to set him, but you need to start getting back to your spot like now. Maybe there's some threat he's gonna put it over the net by accident, and like you can be aware of that. But like you do this like slow walk back a lot of points, and you could get back a full second and a half quicker here. He hits the ball out, so it's inconsequential, but you can just get back to your default spot a lot quicker, and then you'll be able to react to the balls when you actually need to react. That's tough. I would just say with these blockings, I mean, like, you and me are not good at blocking. Sometimes we block anyways. If we want to block, I think we just have to get there earlier. This was a really good serve. It looked like it was going to be mine middle, and then it ends up going more to the camera's left. It's fine. I do have a comment about this. So I in the last maybe 2 months, you started to do this, getting really low on the serve receive, and I think that's done you well because now you're actually getting under the ball and passing up. You're like always under the ball. I think your passing on serve receive has gotten much better, and maybe it's because of you starting the slants. But I think your legs are starting off too wide. Like your knees are kind of pointing out right now, so you still have to adjust in order for you to move to the ball. This is like it's more of an athletic stance than you were in before, but I think if your knees were maybe slightly less bent or closer together or pointing inwards, you'd be able to move to the ball quicker. This is kind of like a sumo stance. I don't know how to communicate it better, but I think you could get in a more balanced position than this that'll help you get to the ball sooner. So, like, this is not really an explosive stance to be in, and then it causes you to kind of be slow to this ball. But like, so you didn't move your feet to get to this ball. You just kind of shifted over with your hands. In order to get to this ball, you do have to take a full step and get there. And it's hard to do that with this starting stance. I like how your knees are bent. I think your butt's like a little too low. Good set. Oh yeah. You're pushing forward all these hits. You're always ending forwards now. I love to see it. Alright, this is another good example. So let's move it back here. Let's go back further. Alright, we hit the ball to the mat. And like you need to be running to your main spot now. Get there. You're still like strolling to your spot and then you're going backwards. And then, he's not hitting a threatening ball here. Like this is a bad set. He has to go backwards. So like you need to be in a spot where you can move. He's shooting this. He's not hitting a down ball here. So like you need to already be in your spot and then be able to be on your balls of your feet or your toes, whatever you got to do to be able to run down this ball. I mean, this ball is, it's either going short or deep. I would have guessed it's going back here, but you got to be on your toes here. Instead, like, we're still backing up as he's about to hit, like, a pretty weak set, and, like, this ball should never fall. Nice set. Let's go. So, like, you had to do this, you have to go backwards, and you end up getting ready, but I think you could just get ready a little bit quicker if you were already in your spot. Can't hit over that, though. Nice. Good control. Nice. Out. Sucks. Not a good pass. Good fix. Nice play. Nice. So this play, I mean, this was a good up on defense at least. You got there. I do have to go backwards for it. You could maybe take I want to get the ball to your left hand, but probably shift over with your pass. You pass to the left, so I'd probably also take an extra step to the left. But I want you to watch, your shoulders, ideally, on pretty much every attack, you want your shoulders to face this corner, hard angle. Right? When you're hitting this ball, your shoulders are basically pointing here. So now it's impossible to hit a large part of the court. So when I'm on defense here, if I'm Henry, I'm cheating to the middle of your shoulder line. I'm cheating here. Matt should be cheating here. You can't really hit past this middle imaginary line. So they should be doing a big shift right now. But if you were more squared up with this line, then they can't cheat as much. You're not as predictable. But I had to kind of like back up. It's kind of a tough set. Nice. Is this enough? Nice. It's a good shot. So here, this is an ungettable ball. But there's a world where I'm giving you a gettable ball and you're not getting it here. And just to show you that, like here, like we're moving around a lot. It's okay if you want to try to block, but like, you know, probably if you're not already up at the net, it's not going to be a good block. It's not going to be an effective block. So you're like dancing back here. If he's hitting this ball and he like makes you move forward, it's going to be tough to defend. And then something that I'm trying to get better at is if I'm, you know, not the person receiving this ball, to try to follow my partner. So it's the same thing on serve receive. I mean, on serve receive, you want to cheat to the target. Here, this, like, if you were to predict where I'm hitting this ball, it's going to be somewhere over here. And it's going to be a sloppy ball. I'm not getting a good touch on this ball. So you need to, you know, help me out, help my bad ball out, and get to this area as soon as possible before I even hit the ball. This is a very hard thing to do, and I'm not good at it either. But, you know, when I make contact, you're all the way out here. Maybe you gave up on the play because this is a really good shot, but, like, you know, if you would have been here instead of back there, then you can at least, you know, maybe touch this ball if I'm hitting it off the net or something. But if I do, like, hit the net right here, you're still not going to be able to get the ball. But if you were, you know, 2 feet forward by the time I'm touching it, then you could scramble and actually get a touch on the ball. This time specifically, though, was ungettable. This happens. Out. Let's see if... Oh, he got aced.
1-0.
Kind of the same thing. And I don't know if I'm reacting any quicker, but... you know, they're hitting me. I'm going to put the ball, hopefully, in this vicinity, and, you know, if you can cheat any extra steps before the ball's even there, then it's going to be helpful. You know, you are half a step late there, and this is a hard ball, but if you have a extra half a step, then you can, you know, keep this ball in the middle of the court. Those are hard plays. Nice set. Let's go. In this game, you don't have to worry about them going over on one that much, but like if this was, let's say, Danny, if we're playing against Danny, then you need to get back. You know, this was like the only time in the game that happened, and it went out, is fine, but some games you have to worry about that a little bit more than others. Good serve. Okay, so here, like, I don't know what's about to happen, but like, this is a really high pass. This is a bad pass, which probably means Henry's going to give a bad set, which means, like, you already need to, like, be anticipating running down a ball. You know, get into a spot, put your weight on your toes, the ball's over you, and, like, get ready to get a shot. It's like, here, it is actually a pretty good fix by Henry. It's like, going to be out of rhythm, though. We'll see if he's going to be able to swing hard, but see what happens. You know, and then he's probably like a little bit uncomfortable with the set, so he doesn't swing. He shoots, and you know you just gotta be ready. It's tough though. He did have he in theory could have swung here, but this was like a little bit out of system. So you know you're grounded really hard here, and he hits a shot that you ended up not being that far away from it, but you weren't even really able to go for it. If you dive here, I think you could get that ball. That was a good fake out by Matt though. He had one later that was like a really good fake, but that one was a little bit more readable because it was a bad pass. This is kind of a bullshit play too, but. Just something to point out here. You know, I like You pass to the right and then you shift to the right. That's good. But like I think here you just have to stay put an extra, half a second to a full second, and watch where this set goes. I set a little bit too high as part of this problem too, but you're way early and way under this ball. Where if you just wait a half a second, see where the set goes, and then you can adjust. Instead, you already have a little momentum and you're going to be under this ball, and now you don't have any real hitting threat. Tough. Okay. Same thing, but this one was it's more in system. You're starting to move like kind of right as I'm touching the ball. Just wait a half a second, and then you're gonna be able to hit the ball in front of you instead of straight up or even behind you. So you can see you kind of have to reach backwards to hit this ball, and it's gonna be hard to hit down with power if you do that. Oh, come on. How is that in? Okay. Set. Okay. Take it. Monster serve incoming. Just like this is probably now. I'd want to be on my heels here. He's gonna fucking crush this ball. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's too tight, so it's not able to happen. It's that monster block. You can see here, this is a good outcome, but just early, like here, right now. So like you're already under the ball, and the ball is like at its apex height right now. You want to stay behind the ball, so and then you have to wind up back. You used to do this even more exaggerated than here. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's hard to have power in that position. You want to stay behind the ball and hit the ball in front of you. Still a good hit though. Good touch. I think if you just had more reps, you could get those balls. There's probably better feedback for someone else to give you, but it's tough. Nice. I do want to show something here. See what happens in this play though. I really want this way. So here. Alright, he has this is an okay pass. Matt's gonna be able to give a good set on here. He's pretty early on this ball though. He's not gonna swing that hard. He could try to swing though. And I would just say here the difference. Henry's never hitting a ball that's straight down. So like just to compare our stances, my hands are a little bit higher. And then like your knees are very wide. It's hard to move in this position if you have to move. I'm like my knees are kind of squared with my shoulders, or like they're a little bit wider than my shoulders, but it's going to be easier for me to move if I have to than in this more like a sumo stance. So what happens is I'm able to actually like dive for this ball and flick it up. I'm gonna get some video of Matt Brusick on Thursday. It'll be really interesting to see his play because like he's great at just moving on defense and being in the right spot. Good set. Bam! Great set. So I forget if I just went in. Just think about this was an unusual play. Henry went over, but just when you're seeing these balls, just constantly be thinking like, is there a threat that he's gonna go over onto? And then he actually did, while your feet weren't set, and we ended up getting it. But you know, if you're thinking in the middle of the point, like, all right, is this ball going over? It could help you like be ready for every single ball, even if it's on one or if it's on two. We give them a free ball here, and oh, this is a really good. I got spooked out of the net, or I didn't time this right. I wish I had this one back. It ends up hitting the net, but I should have just found a way to go over with it. Good set. Great set. You can tell just your footwork and your positioning on the setting is so much better now. Kind of sucks. It's the second game. Nice set. Bam. That was a double. That was a lift. It's the yellow card he's referring to. Nice, there it is. I'll give you the best set. It's too bad. Nice set, bro. Pushing all those, always finishing forwards. Looks great. Nice. So on this play, we kind of lucked out, but you're spending a lot of time up in the net here. But he messed up. I don't really know what was right. It's kind of an awkward play, but this one, I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight. I don't know. This spot's not that bad, I guess. With Matt, I would just say, you know, he's looking to hit here, probably. So in order to hit that spot, like, you could be over here and a little less in line with my shoulder. Just we want to take away as much space as possible. So if he's like hitting, you know, if he's hitting this spot, you know, like, good for him. But we can collectively take up a little bit more space if you are, you know, just taking up more of the court here. Ideally, the blocker is covering this a little bit more. You know, I'm trying to block the middle versus Matt, so. Oh man, it's frustrating. I'm like all over this block and just not getting it. Good. I fucked up. It's a good set. Maybe not. Good sets. Not enough. Need more from me. That was a weird set. It's a good play by them, though. Sheesh. Damn. Good set. Oh man, bad call from me. Oh, out. Nice. A little less early that time. Good serve. Good serve again. Oof. Almost. Nice. Whew, damn. You know, one thing that you're doing a lot better than before is just your body tracking, like the way how you are tracking where to put your body to pass and set the ball. I'll show you. Like here, you know, you're tracking your body like here you're like allowing yourself to go forwards, whereas 2 months ago your body would have been like under the ball already, so then the only place you could go is backwards, but now you're actually like staying behind it so you can go forward. Now you just got to do the same thing on your attacks. Give yourself space to go forwards. All right. Weird. Okay, though. Nice. Good hit. Go, go, go. Okay, nice. We're gonna look at that again, though, just to be sure. What a play. So here, you end up getting the ball, but you could have made this easier on yourself. So, you're still like kind of strolling, scrambling to get back. You're doing these steps backwards, but if you're already here, then you can just go forwards. But like you're still moving backwards as he's about to hit the ball. So this is like a easy and medium ball, but like it's kind of turned itself into a medium hard ball just because you're not really ready to play defense when he's hitting the ball. Nice. Good. Good control. Nice. Oof. Fucking tough, man. He's ripping these. That was a weird set. Yeah, that's a double. Just gonna rip this one. Jesus Christ. Almost had it too. Pass. Good rhythm. That's just good D. This was a one when like I did not read this. I did not see this coming. I thought he was gonna swing and he just goes short. That was a good play by Matt. Okay. Yeah. That was a, I don't know if it was a lift or double, but both. Probably double. Nice. Okay. Just a little in front of the ball. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Not a good pass. Give them kind of a free ball. We got this though. Nah. So I do have some comments on this play. I mean, good, decent up, and then just you're staying back here. Like you can try to guess where I'm gonna touch this ball. If I were to guess, I'm probably putting the ball like here. Ideally, I'm probably just like trying to put it straight up. I'm not doing that here. I don't have the control. But you could start cheating that way. You're like still on the back line by the time I'm touching this ball. So then you have to scramble really hard, give it over on one, which is fine. But then like you should know, like, all right, I just had this tough scramble. I'm on the right side of the court. Like we probably want to switch sides. It's gonna be really hard for me to cover the left once I'm like running and diving from back here. So like you should be thinking like we should switch. I'm trying to signal this. I think there was a language barrier. I'm just trying to talk to you here, but we didn't switch sides, and then I could have got at this ball, but I saw you trying to cover right, so then I tried to cover left, and then instead just no one covered right. Okay. Nice. Really nice. Way to get behind that ball and push it forward. Oof. Here, let me see. Just one thing. So this is another thing. Like this is the same thing with Henry. If this was Matt, I don't mind this. But with Henry, like he's never slamming a ball hard at your ankles. He's not bouncing this ball in the dirt. Henry's good hits are going to be a little bit higher, so like you can start with your hands up here. Same thing as before. You don't have to like make a quick adjustment as much if your hands are already there. You would have been able to like touch that with both your hands if your hands were up. Might have been the last significant point. Ah. Gotta get that ball. Whew. Nice. So it ended up being a really good spot, but this is another example. Like, this is a good set. This is a bad pass. He's already out of position. It's gonna be hard for Henry to like hit a down ball off this play. So just be ready to run down a ball here. Probably ends up being like a pretty tight set, but you can see like Henry's he's already like ready to knuckle with this ball, and he has so much momentum. He's like probably going deep. Not every single time, but probably deep. You got to be ready to run. And this hits the back line. It's beautiful, but this could be the same thing. Yeah. See, I mean, we got penalized here. You hit the shot, slowly getting back, sidestep in, and then he makes it before it. It's a good play by Henry though. He saw the opening and he took it. But if you don't give him the opening, then he can't do that. Not a good pass. That was it. All right. Hopefully this helps.